might find you, for you are not far from any of them. Lord, we recognize that all throughout human history, you've set the boundaries of every person's habitation. You are the sovereign one. You sit as king over all the earth and establish our times and our ways. We may plan our day and our steps, but you, O Lord, are the one that determines the ways of men. Lord, I ask you, in light of the shaking of the nations, in light of the crisis of the earth, in light of the sin and iniquity of mankind arising, in light of the rage of Satan as he goes forth to deceive and manipulate and plant lies of lust and arrogance and sin, and in light of you and your purposes and your plans, God, I ask you for a grace in this hour to repent and to turn to you over the face of the earth. Lord, in light of this time of shaking, there's a spiritual hunger arising from the earth, unlike we've seen in our day. I ask you, God, that you would respond to the groaning of the nations as all the inhabitants of the earth are looking for answers. God, I ask you that you would expose the vanity of the counsel of the wicked in this hour. I ask that you would expose the fruitlessness, the vanity of looking to politicians and leaders and educational systems and militaries and police to answer our questions. God, I ask you in this hour when mankind is searching to and fro, looking for an answer to our pain and our injustice, I ask you, Lord, that you would exalt the word of the Lord. I ask you, God, that you would cause your word, 2 Thessalonians 3, to go forth rapidly, to be glorified in this hour in every nation on the earth. Lord, the gospel is the answer in this hour to the crisis of humanity, to injustice in the nations, to the shaking to and fro. Lord, you said that you would shake everything that can be shaken for the sake of the knowledge of the glory of the Lord filling the whole earth. I ask you, God, as the nations shake, as the earth quakes to and fro, that your word would go forth with power and be glorified in the nations, that you would raise up ones anointed with the gospel to speak with tenderness and to speak with boldness, the true answer that humanity longs for. God, I ask you that you would expose the barrenness of the counsel of the wicked, of the path of sinners, of the seed of scoffers, as the earth scoffs at that which is true, as the nations rage against you. Father, establish your king and his authority on his mighty throne, and send forth heralds of the gospel to declare his might and his power. God, I ask you for your church that you would give us a burden for something more than our own comfort and security. I ask you, Lord, that you would mark us and burden us for the glory of God among all people, that the nations and all peoples would be glad and rejoice in the Lord. Father, I ask you that loving you and obeying you and serving you and glorifying you in our own families and homes and cities and even among the nations, that would become our great pursuit, that would be that which we long for and hope for, is your name being exalted even above our own comforts and our own securities being taken from us. Father, I ask you that you would confront the powerlessness of the church in this hour, that you would expose our barrenness and our prayerlessness. We look to you, Lord of the harvest, even for our own strength and our own grace. Lord, empower your church in this hour among all the nations to stand firm, to love you wholeheartedly, and to lead diligently and speak boldly of who you are and the grace you've given to humanity. Father, anoint us to be bold witnesses of the gospel in this city and in the cities of the earth, in Jesus' name. Harvest is ready in this hour, Lord.
Lord of the harvest, God of salvation, we call on you.
Let your word go forth.
There's a hunger on the earth.
Let it run swiftly.
Blessed are the hungry. You promised they would be filled, Lord. You promised you would fill them with your words.
You promised
shake everything that can
Jesus,
shake.
respond to the hunger of the
Everything
nations
out the
right
way
now.
that hinders your plans from going forward.
As men seek you, I ask that you would give grace.
Respond
To the seeking and the hunger. You said they would find you, Lord.
Everything that can be shaken. Respond to the hunger.
Respond to the hunger, Father.
Respond to
Blessed
the
are
hunger.
you, hungry nations.
Shake
The
everything
promise
that
is certain. You will
can
be filled
shaken.
by the Lord of the harvest.
Respond to the hunger.
Respond to the hunger, we ask in Jesus' name.
Shake everything that can be shaken. Respond to the hunger. Respond to the hunger. Shake everything that can be shaken. Respond to the hunger. Respond to the hunger. Shake everything that can be shaken. Respond to the hunger. Respond to the hunger. Shake everything that can be shaken. Respond to the hunger. Respond to the hunger. Shake everything that can be shaken. Respond to the hunger. Respond to the hunger.
As the pressures arise, let your gospel go forth in every nation, tribe, and tongue. Let your gospel go forth. As the pressures arise, let your gospel go forth in every nation, tribe, and tongue. Let your gospel go forth. As the pressures arise, every nation, tribe, and tongue. Let your gospel go forth. As the pressures arise, let your gospel